We are gathered here today, the Declarative Isekai Choosers Squad.
Or dicks for short.
And we are here to decide what is and is not Isekai. It is I, one of the Grand Chancellors of this squad, Kermit the Grog. I am joined by the illustrious Isekai Sensei Sama himself, Brad.
I have a PhD in Isekai.
Whoa, from what college?
Isekai University.
Life.
Oh.
You've never heard of Ino U?
And also joined by,
It's the dog.
from illustrious Shonen Flop podcast, Jordan.
Yo, what's up?
And David.
Hey, I didn't know this would have a video component.
I didn't either.
That's all right. It's fine. I just thought it'd be funny if that was my intro.
Surprised.
I mean, everybody listening to the
say something more
podcast,
normal if you want to cut that out.
they'll be really confused because we're not actually recording video. So.
Yeah. Just put
What?
the
I
shadowy
didn't know
figures.
this. Okay, wait, let me redo it. I didn't know this wouldn't have a video component.
Now you have to leave both of them in for that to make any sense.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
to
use,
be fair,
it's like the Spider-Verse where you use different versions of that line.
Yeah.
Because like how they fucked
Every
around in some
release is
versions
a-
of the movie.
every
So if you listen on
podcast
YouTube,
platform
it
is
has
a different
slightly
one.
different audio.
Yeah.
I did think it was weird that you're wearing a tuxedo. So
Well,
We are all dressed up in our squad robes right now. We're an important
Council
governing
robes.
body to decide
Yeah.
what isekais are, and opening the floor. Jordan, what was your thought of what we have to declare if it's an isekai or not?
Is Cool World an isekai?
So does Cool World, I
Yes.
watched some of it and then couldn't stomach the rest. Is Cool World like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and that cartoon world is just a place you can drive, or does he have to get like taken somewhere?
Oh, I haven't seen Cool World.
yeah, I think that's the main problem. Is that we would have had to have watched
Watch
that
Cool
movie
World.
to
I tried.
know.
I should like it. I don't care. We'll go. Okay. So
It's a movie that like you see parts of and you're like, man, this probably looks cool. This looks good. Like,
World.
oh, this looks cool. And then everybody tells you it sucks.
That's,
I mean,
that's
it
the
looks
one.
like a
and they're
movie-
right.
It
That's
looks
the
like
one
it was
where-
a movie invented for YouTubers to make video essays about.
well,
Yeah.
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 It's the one where Brad Pitt has sex with a cartoon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay,
I'm gonna watch this
so
in the
genuinely
background.
from that, because I'm pretty sure we have all seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, is Who Framed Roger Rabbit an isekai?
Who
When
Framed
he goes-
Roger Rabbit definitely is.
Why?
What?
Because
What?
he goes
How
to a
is this-
different world.
But it's
No, but it's
he
established-
drives
He does
there.
go
It's the
there.
same planet. He's still in California. He's still in Los Angeles.
You're like saying oh, is going to Europe an isekai? You know,
Yes.
you can use normal means of transportation to
No,
go.
okay.
Like there's a
No.
back and forth of commerce. It's like
No,
science
what do you
fiction,
mean?
It's not
Here-
isekai.
here's the thing.
Isekai protagonists go to different worlds with normal transportation all the time. They get
But then
hit
they don't
by
go
a truck.
back. You don't ride a bus out of the isekai.
You can't
No,
leave
here's
it,
the thing.
though.
Here's the thing. Eddie Valiant actually does not go to a different world. Toons exist in the world he's in.
It's a
He
toon
is-
town.
He is just from a strange world. Like, there are toons that exist. He doesn't even have to go to a different separate part of town. There are toons there. It's just most of them live in Toontown.
Now, how did the tunes get there?
They drove there or walked.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
also
who
have
do-
their own transit.
I don't see how it's any different than immigrating to any other country.
The-
It's like, Europe has different rules
Hey,
than America.
Brad,
Asylum seeking is an isekai.
Oh my gosh.
Stay woke.
my
Okay.
great-grandparents were in an isekai.
Yes.
I'm going to get the host. Okay.
This brand new world, Ellis Island.
I'm going to declare, because we can't do this for everything, I'm going to declare the syndrome rule where if everything's an isekai, nothing's an isekai. So, Brad, right now, you have to tell me one thing that is not an isekai. Tell me one series that is not an isekai.
They call it the new world.
Brad, you have to answer my question or you will be ejected from this squad council.
What's not an isekai?
If everything's an isekai, then nothing is, and we have to decide what is and isn't, so something has to not be an isekai.
You have to say something is the isekai line, where if it's less
Saw.
isekai than this, it's not
Saw
Saw
is
is
not
not
an
an
isekai.
Saw
I feel
is
like
not
I
an
wish we had like a
isekai.
tier list
Okay.
and we actually had all this pre-populated and we could just bam isekai not isekai, or actually we could just make like a Google sheet and just rate it. That's probably a way better idea.
Okay, so here's the thing. Roger Rabbit, not an isekai, but Space Jam, absolutely an isekai.
Space Jam and
Yes.
isekai, because he had to go
I
through a
think
portal.
bam.
Absolutely an isekai.
I think that's an
Incontrovertible.
isekai.
Yes.
Toon,
All right.
the Toontown in Who Framed Roger Rabbit You have to like go through a portal.
You have to go through you have to go through like a tunnel through a mountain. It wasn't
And-
like literally like a hole into the not realm.
And I have to say, like the whole thing about, oh, you can't drive back and forth through an isekai. Are you saying that Gate is not an isekai?
Well, we were going to get into that if you can go back or not, is if that's still an isekai.
Because
Well, there's also the cultural connotations, because isn't there a point where relationships have normalized, which I think is the reason Toontown, where clearly you have had access to this for a very long time. Eventually, if you have a portal in our world, that becomes so normalized in your society, people would literally not view it as anything weird. Like, imagine if there was a gate to Mars, and like people started living on Mars wouldn't be interesting in 100 years. And it would stop being a
Yeah,
isekai.
it's standardized. It is acclimated to the pool temperature.
Yeah, I think
this.
Toontown
And
is
that's-
acclimated, so if it wasn't isekai at the start, it's not isekai anymore.
Yeah, I think the
I will
point.
yield
give
my
you
time.
that. That is an acceptable form of that. So we can say that the movie of Who Framed Roger Rabbit is not itself an isekai.
Yes.
I have
However,
not read the book, so I can't tell.
That's
It's
true.
very different.
The prequel.
I'm not surprised to
to
hear
Who
that the
Framed
book is
Roger-
different. There is a
think it's
book.
also-
I know there is.
The first. Okay, I'll follow Brad's thing. Is the movie is not, but the first Toon that left Toontown and the first human that went into Toontown, we are saying isekai.
Yeah, I would say that's fine. It
That's
depends-
fair.
That's it. That's fair.
Okay, so I feel like that's an important rule we've established of normalized contact between the two groups.
I
And
feel like
so
I feel
when
like-
they went on the Mayflower, that's an isekai.
You know what?
Yeah, yeah,
You know
fuck
what?
it, yeah.
Sure,
That's a
sure.
I
fucking
gotta
isekai.
respect it. I gotta
No,
respect it.
I
And then
think,
look at that. Coming to America is not that exciting anymore, right?
yeah, pretty much.
Wait, the movie or the?
Yeah, it's coming to, it's
that an
coming to
isekai?
America. The Eddie Murphy movie. Is that an isekai?
It
No,
was-
he's
well,
already
that
there.
movie's
It was
canceled
weird
now.
for him.
Yeah,
If
well,
he was
they made
the
a
first
sequel.
person
I
from
guess.
Africa to come to America, it would have been an isekai for Eddie Murphy.
That's important, though. Is it a personal thing or is it a cultural thing? Because on
I
a
do
personal
think-
level, it was an isekai for him.
I actually had that on my list as a topic of how do we feel about cultural isekai. So, like, imagine if you were a Native American as like a child and kidnapped, or like kidnapped, jumped on a boat, and you're in England. Is that an isekai? 'Cause
Yeah,
that is doubt-
Pocahontas is an
Pocahontas
isekai.
an
Well, no,
isekai?
Yeah, it's Pocahontas and isekai. There you go.
I think it is.
No, but I think what you said is, if I'm sure there's a story like
No,
that.
they took Pocahontas to England.
Oh, I forgot
Yeah.
about that part.
Yeah.
That's
Not
the
the-
sequel, isn't
Not
it?
Yeah,
the Disney
Pocahontas
movie.
Oh, that's
No,
what I
no.
thought. Pocahontas. It is Pocahontas too.
Pocahontas
think.
2
Wait,
is
that
an
ex-
isekai. There
that's
is
a
a
thing?
Pocahontas 2 movie.
There is, and that's
Yeah,
when
Was that
she
a-
goes.
is an
was
She
that
isekai.
goes to Europe and she
a
gets
home
a
movie?
princess
Yeah, it's called
dress.
Two
Yes,
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas 2.
I think
We don't have Electric Boogaloo.
we're gonna have to escalate into that tier list of some isekai are more isekai than others.
I feel like we need a document that is just a scale of 1 to 10, and a 5 is like you're an isekai,
So-
and we should just put all these on this.
Here's the
All right,
thing.
you know, fuck
I
it. I'm gonna
think.
make a
What
Google
is
sheet.
maximum isekai?
I'm gonna make this document right now.
Oh my god. So I
Jordan's like
think.
David in his fucking Google Sheets.
I'm like, no, I'm like, David, I've been trying to say something for like 5 or 6 minutes. Keep stopping me. No, I'm saying like I think that the most important aspect is that you have one character from a totally different place going somewhere where they are basically a fish out of water and don't understand what's going on around them. I think a real good question though is the Matrix an isekai?
that
I
is
had that on my
everyone's
list.
question.
That was not on mine. It just occurred to me though.
because we talked about because it's the
All right.
Matrix is an MMO. Well, we get to see the Google Doc.
Oh my
Yes,
god, he's
all right,
sharing
so
the
wait,
screen.
I can't read it
let's-
because it's too small. I'm sure my producer son can read it.
Here you
All-
go.
Thank
Is that
you.
better?
Oh my gosh, incredible!
All of our audience that is watching this video.
We'll release
is-
it at the end. We need it for our own organization.
All right. So I let's talk about the ones we already had. So Roger
Well-
Rabbit. Where is this? Is this
So
is this
if one is Saw, which is not an isekai at all, what is 10? What is the most isekai that has ever been?
2 is definitely Seinfeld, right?
Is Seinfeld even remotely an isekai? I mean, it's an anime,
It's more
but is it
isekai
an
than
isekai?
Saw is.
Did Seinfeld ever cross over with another show?
I think there are probably individual episodes of Seinfeld that could be classified as isekai.
They have a Europe
When Jer-
episode.
When Jerry wore the puffy shirt, he was transported
Yeah.
into
All right.
a new
all right.
world.
Anyway, so okay. What's considered a 10 out of 10
What's
isekai?
10? Isekai Sensei Sama, what is the most isekai that you can think of?
I mean,
What
I
is
think
the most classical, like, this is the lodestone up which all others are weighed and understood against?
there. I mean, I think there's probably plenty that fall into this category.
You gotta
'cause it's
pick. You gotta pick one.
a full
The Bible.
blown. They got killed, and now they're in a different world in a different body. Like
Which
their soul
one?
got transferred.
But then, like
so,
the standard fantasy, like
You're-
what's the most?
I mean,
Oh, I
we
got
can.
you.
I mean,
we
I
can
would say reincarnation
that-
is a critical part. There are some very
Right.
iconic isekais, and I know that's literally the name of your show, and you're going to unsubscribe as a patron. But I do feel that's not like a true part of the isekai purity. But maybe we can debate that if the reincarnation is required.
So, and that gets into isekai adjacent stuff.
God,
So I think
didn't expect
for
this to be so complicated.
Dude,
it's incredibly
You're always gonna be
complicated.
complicated.
It's a
I'm in
reason.
it.
There's a reason I can get a doctorate in it. So just like to level set, the most isekai we can just say that time I was reincarnated as a slime. Just
that's our most. That's our number. That's our 10 on the list.
right. The
So
guy
we just
gets
have
killed. He goes to another world and he's a different being, but he still has his personality.
Cool.
I
That works.
I
Okay,
completely
cool.
respect that.
So
And
I
I
would
got-
put. Oh, sorry. You go.
I started
I'll see
started watching that, and then when they changed the intro and I saw that the slime guy turned into a human, I was like, fuck this. I'm done. Fuck this.
That's why it's a 10 isekai, because it's bullshit. Okay, so Who Framed Roger Rabbit? On a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of Saw to that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
The
Well, we've
How
already
isekai is
established.
Roger Rabbit.
We've established that the movie itself is not an isekai, but the world had an isekai moment.
It
I would say
implies
it's like
an
a 3 or
isekai.
4. The 5 is you're an isekai if you're a 5 or higher, is what we say.
I would say
Like, well, yeah, where it's
2
really
or
like
3.
Yeah, I would say
I would go with
say
a
a
three.
3 because I
Yeah.
feel like 2 is where you can get bullshit in, and 3 is where it's like, okay, no, there is something
some
in there.
connection.
There's some supernatural elements.
We'd have
the
to watch
series.
Cool World. Okay, so wait, so from that, what is Space Jam an isekai?
Oh, Space Jam.
Absolutely. You can't argue that Space
Now,
Jam is not
I think it's a 10
isekai.
unless the reincarnation is a required
No, because
element.
he comes back. They both meld
You're right.
between worlds, and I think that keeps it from
You're
being
right.
a 10.
The
I will
the
accept it
tunes
as an
can
8.
go back.
On a strictly technical level, the only thing required of an isekai is literally to go to a different world.
But some isekai are more isekai than others.
That's true.
This is why there's
It's
a
like
chart.
infinities.
No, it's like roguelikes versus roguelites, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 So, and that's how we get into isekai adjacent things, because isekai as a medium has sucked in all of these tropes and is
Yep.
clinging on to them for dear life. And so any other series that uses one of those tropes, even if it doesn't take place in a different world, suddenly becomes related to isekai.
That's why a 10 needed to be the stereotypical isekai that has ever been.
Stereotypicus is my favorite Greek philosopher.
That actually, stereotypical sounds just like a magic spell. Oh,
I think that's what you use if you get turned into a frog. That's how you turn back.
Oh, good. I'll let Rachel know. So I think we were discussing the Matrix.
The Matrix, because the Matrix opens the MMO thing of Sword Art Online, which I feel like, between both of those, are they both isekai?
I think
So
the,
I have
think
often
the video
debated
games-
that-
Complicated.
Because
Yeah.
there's not actually a reincarnate. I've often argued that Sword Art Online is not an isekai because of that.
But here's the thing. I'm sorry, like, from Neo's perspective, I would say it is an isekai. But the thing is, Neo is always in that world.
I mean, not
You know what I
always.
mean?
It
Like,
comes out of it.
He technically doesn't go to a new world.
Oh, you mean like
His conscious-
his physical body is always present.
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
But it's
But
that
same
thing.
as
I
Sword
guess
Art
that's why we're
Online.
getting to this. Is the
Yeah.
digital world another world enough?
I don't think
In
so.
Digimon, it is.
This
Then
gets
that's the
they're-
same. Aren't they in a video? I guess, or is there? I guess do they leave? I guess then it's important. Do they leave a physical body behind when they go into the digital world?
I think the physical body is the defining thing. Digimon, yes. Tron, yes.
Okay.
Sword Art Online,
okay.
no.
No. Body left behind. Somewhat stuck. Stuck sometimes.
But this is where you get in the video game aspect of isekai is the thing where it gets really fuzzy.
So does
because
that?
of these kind of situations. You also have this other situation where somebody dies while they're in a game or whatever, and they go to a different world that has those game mechanics. They're no longer on our Earth. they're in a different place. And this happens all the time with like the villainous isekai manga and manhwa
it's like
stuff.
a dating sim.
Where it's all the
visual
dating
novel.
sim.
But like
stuff.
Konosuba is like a super video gamey world.
But it doesn't have.
But it's not an MMO.
Yeah, and it's not. They weren't using the mechanics of a game that existed in our world.
Correct.
It just has some RPG-like
trappings are
elements
there.
to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, he just literally did die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question, my fulcrum point is the Matrix, is Sword Art Online, is Dot Hack above or below a 5 on the Isekai scale?
I would
I
put
think
those.
all
Because I think
Adam-
it's at a 4 or a 6.
I would
But
put them in a 4.
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You're talking about about whether the physical body goes with you. But if there's a corpse in the previous world, does that count as the physical body going with you?
That's a
Can you
good
return
point.
to the corpse? Like, that's the thing
Here's-
of, like, Neo has a body somewhere that if he got out of the Matrix, he can and has returned to.
Here's the big thing.
Except
You
for
are
in that
legally
one movie.
alive in the real world during all the stuck in video game isekais. That is a very big difference in the fact that you are literally dead.
David's bringing the law into it.
I'm
Yep,
just
yep.
saying you are literally alive
So-
while your mind is stuck somewhere.
So there was this Indian guy who got declared deceased for like 15 years. He went to his own
15
funeral.
years?
Yes, 15 years. I read about this yesterday. He went to his
Did you read up this
own
Mad magazine?
funeral. He kept doing all of these things to try and get himself declared back alive, and it took 15 years to get it to happen. If he had played a virtual reality MMO, would that be considered an isekai? He's
He was
legally
he was-
dead.
I don't care about the law in this situation, Brad. We are the law in this situation. He was alive. If he's playing MMOs, he's alive.
Dredd in Isekai.
I was going to say it's Judge Judy and isekai.
Is Judge Judy in Isekai?
Hey, when you enter
It's a
that
2.
courtroom,
Judge Judy, 2.
you enter
2
a
on
different
Isekai.
world.
Yep, Judge Judy,
Yes.
2. Judge
Judge
Judy, 2.
Judy,
Put it on the list.
I feel like it's if you walk from one room to another, you're at least at 2. Because the first Saw movie is only set in one room, so no one
Yes,
changes,
yes.
no one changes
That's-
locations in that
You
movie.
can never be in another world because you're only in the one.
It takes place in one room.
Yeah.
That's why it's not
That's
an
why it's the
isekai.
perfect one.
That's why it's specifically Saw, not Saw 2 or 3 or any of them.
Honestly,
Yeah.
why I just picked Saw because that sounded like a funny one. It's like why I put Seinfeld in the list.
I know. We find the magic in it.
Seinfeld mostly takes place in that one room, but sometimes they go to a different place. So there you go.
It's an
With,
isekai when Kramer shows up.
Reverse isekai.
He's coming. Kramer is not from the same world.
Yeah,
as
you're right.
Everybody
Somebody else is
okay?
coming in. Yeah.
He is not.
Did
from
we
the
put
same
a Seinfeld at 2? Move Seinfeld up to 3 for that because we're a reverse isekai because of Kramer. That's a move up move in my book. Put him in
right.
different columns. You're just going to be miserable.
Maybe Google Sheets isn't the best format for this.
So just got to do it right. As a Google Sheets person for flop poll, you can bend them to your will.
What's wrong with that? How have you seen the sheet?
You're just gonna have
No,
a rough
no,
time?
that works.
Whatever.
No, you're
Okay,
good.
That
You're
works.
good. Yeah.
So, I have I thought of one. My girlfriend recently showed me her favorite isekai, actually, or one of her favorite isekai. It is called Henachoko Akuma Nikki no NY Taikenki. Often, it was actually localized into America as Little Nikki, which I believe is
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yep. What
Brad, how are you no-selling this?
do you mean? That's totally an isekai.
it's totally an
It's a
isekai.
reverse.
How is it
it's
not?
Reverse
I've never seen
isekais
Little-
are
I've never seen
valid.
Little Nicky.
Okay.
It's not a reverse
It's
isekai.
not.
It's an
He-
isekai.
His home is hell.
Yeah.
Go to your home.
That's
Yeah.
a
That's a different
That's
movie.
That's
No.
Happy Gilmore.
Isn't it
Is a
little-
golf ball experiencing isekai when you if its home state is the whole of when it is flying through the air elsewhere is a golf ball experiencing an isekai.
Wait. I thought Little Nicky is he gets sucked from hell to real Earth. So isn't that a reverse isekai? Because he's going from the fantastical
No,
place
but
of the world.
it's-
No, but
We've
he
already
lives
established
in a fantastical place.
it's the main character that is the important thing here.
Is Adam Sandler's character the main character of Little Nicky?
I
Yeah.
assumed that was it. That's
Then
why
that's
we're
an
arguing.
isekai. If he was
Yeah.
a side character in the way that Kramer is a side character on Seinfeld, that's when it becomes the reverse.
Exactly.
Oh.
All right, so
This is
so what are we
exhausting.
giving Little Nicky? I think it's probably is it more isekai than B movie?
Oh, that's like a
I think
7 or 8.
yes. I think yes.
B movie is a sub 5. I think Little Nicky is above a 5. I don't know what
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
I think 8,
All right,
8
I
is
think
fair.
Little
7
Nicky is
for-
an 8, 7.
I'm putting Lil Nicky there.
Is it
depends-
more or
I won't-
less?
We don't know where
than
is
Space
hell.
Jam?
We don't know where hell is.
We
Yeah,
still
'cause
haven't
that's a
decided
good
what is
point.
the most on the borderline. Like so we know what the barometer is. What is the most arguably isekai?
I think it's The Matrix.
Are we going
You
to treat
think a Matrix
MMOs? Maybe it's MMOs aren't the 4 or the 6. Maybe MMOs are the 5.
That's a good
I think
point.
that's like the perfect
'Cause you're-
fulcrum point.
Yeah,
because it has all the trappings
Fine.
of
It's
kind
just
of an
missing
isekai.
that last little piece.
So what's
Yeah.
happening is you are experiencing
Wait,
an
so
isekai.
if you're a 5, okay, so we're saying if you're a 6 and above, you're an isekai because we said Sword Art Online, Matrix are not isekais.
They're right on the border.
yeah, that's the
which is why
border.
they're
Yeah.
perfect at 5.
So,
I like that.
So what's happening in those, because your body is left behind, you're experiencing an isekai as the protagonist, but you're not technically actually going to that world. So it's not technically an isekai,
But we said Digimon is because their body leaves.
along with
Yes.
Tron.
Along with
David,
Tron. Would Chalk Zone fall under that as well? Is Chalk Zone an
Chalk's like
isekai?
100. Well, actually, he
But
goes
they can
back,
come
right?
and go.
But
I
again,
think it's an isekai in the first episode, and then again, as we talked about, gets normalized.
do they
But no,
have
but
to
that's-
not be able to come
both-
back?
that's pretty
Can
fair.
the Chalk things come back with him?
Yes, I think they did, didn't
Yes,
John-
they can.
the
Yes.
superhero guy jumps in and out, doesn't he?
Does he?
Yeah, Snap
Yeah.
every
Is he
now and
allowed
then.
to
he
leave?
does.
I haven't
think
watched
It's
that
been a
show
long
in
time.
30 years.
Yeah,
now.
it's been a hot minute.
I think if
So-
you can reasonably go back and forth, it's not an isekai because that's the whole.
So
thing.
then,
Okay.
Digimon Season 1, Isekai.
Yeah.
Digimon Season 2, not an Isekai.
We're not going to just going to say
hold
it.
on.
So
Go back
how
on that.
how isekai
No.
is Digimon? It's been ages since
Wait,
I've seen it.
wait,
but I
wait.
agree that's above a 5.
I have to go back, David. The ability to go back and forth is not the thing that takes it away from being an isekai.
But I think
the
it makes
normalization
it keeps it
of
away
it.
from a
Yes.
10. You're right. Which
Because-
but going back and forth usually implies a normalization.
It's
Yeah.
it can get there. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: Gate. Have we all seen Gate?
I
Do
know
we
No,
what
I
Gate
know of
is.
Gate.
Okay.
Haven't seen
Gate. I would recommend it. It's got a little bit of iffy stuff, but generally speaking, it's pretty good. A big old portal shows up. It looks like a gate in the middle of Akihabara, and the JDF literally goes over there and like just decimates everybody that they're fighting
I got
because
excited
it's
about
like
that when you
in a
told me about it.
medieval world.
Yeah.
And they use jet fighters against
so
dragons.
how
It's fucking
how
awesome.
isekai is Gate? It sounds like it's above a 5.
The thing is, I would even at the end of, is it just one season? However far it got, it's still a full on isekai because even though they're traveling back and forth, they go to that world and they bring people back to this world. The relations between them haven't normalized to the point of like everybody's just like, yeah, it's
What
normal.
if they conquered all of them? What if it opened up in America and we made all of the fantasy world into more America?
So
Yeah.
Would.
I think that the episode of Adventure Time where Finn goes
Hoo
into
ahoy.
the pill, goes into
Yeah.
the pillow world and is voiced by Jonathan Frakes. That is an isekai.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that be an
Yeah.
isekai?
Yeah.
Sure, I don't know
I'm just,
that one.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking of things.
Go
you
for
know?
it. Put it on the list.
And
Okay.
a great episode.
Where are we putting on the list though?
Well, that specific episode is like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
put it in
Put it
Oh,
in
man.
9 because there's nothing there.
Yeah, for now, we got to fill up the crap. Where are we putting Digimon Season 1? I feel like that's an important touchstone.
I think that's I think that's like an 8 or a 9. Besides
Yeah.
the reincarnation part, it's just a true isekai.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to put Chalk Zone in there because I feel like that's a good thing of the body doesn't come with it into it, but there's enough, it's normalized. Is that like a 3?
I put it as a 4 because it has some isekai. There is a magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same as True Ray and Roger Rabbit, actually, isn't it? So it's pretty much the same.
But like one man holds the key to
you're
the
right. All
teleporting.
right, so
I
we'll
feel like
make it a
that
4.
like
That's
it's
fair.
not
Yeah,
like Chuck
that's
people aren't
important.
coming into the real world and like working.
I just thought of something. Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe.
that's just a 10,
Definitely.
isn't it? Or no, that's like a
No.
9 isekai.
It's a 9.
I
Absolutely.
guess because
an
it changes
isekai, yeah.
every time they go into it. So yeah.
I mean, that's not quite fair. Time flows differently.
Yeah. Just like in Digimon.
Speaking of time, the example I had for time that we have talked about before, that one of the things that inspired this, Trick's dedicated to witches. He
Hell
goes
yeah.
back in time to actual our Europe.
And
he
then likewise,
thinks he does.
If he did,
It's never fully
we're
established
acting
if
under
that's
the idea.
actual.
We're acting under the idea that he did for this argument's sake. Is that an isekai? Is going through time an isekai?
So I would like to
matter if
say,
it's forwards or backwards, like his Dr. Stone
Yeah.
isekai.
Technically, it's not.
well,
Because he is in the same world.
It's the same world.
And then
It's just-
Futurama is also
What-
Futurama. Because
what
Futurama
about-
feels like an isekai, right?
what
but
what
we're
about
always going forward through time. That's the problem with forward stuff.
well, what about Terminator? That was like because Kyle Reese like comes back in time, and so does Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course.
And then it's Doctor Who and isekai.
Is it?
Actually, Doctor Who probably counts because he goes to different worlds. all the
Yeah, he goes to different worlds.
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
but not every episode.
I say
Sometimes
Doctor Who is
in
like
eight-
Doctor Who feels like a
7.
5 on the isekai.
I think it's.
I feel like
higher.
he's a 6.
It's
You
probably
think
higher
Doctor
than
Who is
that.
an isekai?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yes.
a 6 or a 7 because if he's going to different worlds all the time and seeing a bunch of crazy shit.
Did you
All
just
right, but
you
let's,
just
let's,
erased
let's
one?
settle this. So back
You
in
just
time.
erased
They-
me.
you just
David,
erased.
Back in time.
What?
David, can you make a non-meme argument for why B movie is an isekai?
Yes, but I don't
What
want
is
to.
it?
I don't want to.
I will argue against B movie being an isekai.
Is the entirety of B movie being encoded into the library of everything in Isekai?
Yes. There will be forms of the B
No.
movie that are isekai. The one we shot to Mars, that B movie has been isekai.
Is Trash in Space? Is Cars from JoJo Part 2 in an isekai now then? If he's shot into space where he's never
Yes.
been before, is that a low-level isekai?
Yes, the 14 Cars is on Mars, or whatever it was.
Whatever, yeah, one of them comes back, but only one of them comes back.
Doesn't that get into like cyclical universes things?
Yeah.
It's that book is George.
Part-
It's complicated.
It's the one that we've all read bits about. I would say
I never
Cars.
got there.
I would say Cars in Space is like a 3 or a 4.
So does that make JoJo's Bizarre Adventure arguably have isekai elements?
Oh, definitely.
I feel like it has
Dirty
to.
Dirty
like-
Deeds Done Dirt Cheap literally is an isekai.
Yeah, he's
generating
literally
standard.
Yeah.
isekaiing people. Filthy acts done at reasonable price, please. This
Yes.
is an English-friendly podcast.
You're right, my flaccid pancake.
We don't want to get sued by ACDC, okay?
Yeah. All right.
Cars.
I feel like
Zoo.
we have been talking over Brad a lot.
Hakadaka.
Brad, speak your piece on what do you feel about going back in time?
Yeah. What is time?
So, time travel is so integral in so many actual isekai that it's one of those things that we've seen that is a trope that just becomes isekai in and of itself. People just associate it. When
Like a ReZero? Where
Well,
it's
ReZero's
when
is
Zero's
like
are
regardless of that.
but-
like a save state though. Like is
yes.
it? But like these are like that is time travel. But this is like we've gone to a different point in time and not just I reset time. That feels like two different things.
yeah, I mean, it happens in multiple different ways.
Yeah.
But because of
Inuyasha.
that, yeah, exactly. Inuyasha
Shit,
is
sorry.
technically not an isekai, but it definitely is an isekai because it's so isekai adjacent that you just go, oh, it's an isekai.
So what number is it? So it's above a 5 if we're saying it's an isekai, but it's a less it's less it's a less isekai than other isekai.
Well, I think that time travel, if it's pure time travel, so like a
Yeah.
ReZero, he goes to a different world and then time travels.
yeah,
That's
just a straight up
8,
isekai.
9.
That's like a
unrelated
9.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like a Trick Stay Kid of Witches, unfortunately, I love that series, but I have to say it's a 5.
It's a 5.
Really?
So time MMOs, time travel, cutoff point.
Yeah, because it's the same world.
Wow.
And is that
okay.
forwards and backwards, or if you're like
Yeah.
Futurama feels like, as I said, Futurama is literally formatted like an isekai.
Right?
Yeah, he's just
That's,
but he's
yep.
But
he's
it's not
going
isekai?
forward in time. So
All
it's
right.
Futurama, a 5. Wow.
So you're saying
spoken.
that Back to the Future is not an isekai?
That was never an
No.
isekai.
Not technically.
Actually, no, the end of Back to the Future 3 because he gets sent back in time into not on purpose.
it
but-
really comes down to
But I
like
feel that's less.
when we're talking about any particular isekai, it's like, how do we feel about it? Like, what are we feeling that day? If we're Kermit and we go, I hate isekai, I don't want anything to be an isekai. Well, very few things are isekai. But if we're Isekai Sensei-sama,
Everything's an isekai.
Everything.
This is the ongoing
Is an
battle
isekai,
between us
because
he
we
wants to
were-
get his isekai stink on everything, and I have to fight against that.
We're
It's just
always-
certain things.
we're always traveling through time.
Yeah.
Forward through time. Everything is an isekai.
Every moment of your life, every second, every millisecond is an isekai because you're in a new state you weren't in before.
Can I just tell you, so I went to art school, and we would
Oh,
the
here we go
sheer
again.
amount of no, this is identical to every conversation we ever had about what is art. This is identical.
yeah.
This
Yep.
is the same thing.
Yes, but were your organizations short for dicks like ours is?
I don't know. Maybe
Probably.
they were. I haven't thought about
Some
it.
of them, yeah.
Nah, we were just busy drawing dicks.
There you go.
It's a very similar conversation, and a lot of it. There is the technical definition, as we've established. Did you go to another world that is just completely different from your own? You're out of place and all that. Technical definition of an isekai. Beyond that, it becomes about personally to you, the reader, the viewer. How do you feel about it?
You can get silly with it, and we've done that and we will do that. But that was why I enacted the syndrome rule, because if we just got silly on everything, then it's just like, why bother?
I will say, so I was thinking about this as I was getting prepared for this conversation.
Yeah.
I was looking at various series and looking at like, what are these different categories that are here? What are the isekai tropes and how do they get into different series that aren't necessarily, technical isekai? And something that I came to realize is that my love of isekai has made it so that I enjoy such a wider range of series because I've experienced all these tropes within isekai that now when I read a series that is not an isekai that uses those tropes, I'm into that as well.
It's an evolutionary tactic. Your diet has widened.
Yeah.
You're more omnivorous, and this allows you to succeed in manga reading.
600 IQ. I love it.
Your brain is currently expanding.
Oh, didn't we have Pocahontas 2 on this list? Where did we decide?
Oh, I don't know if we ever put it down, but we should. Pocahontas 2. Okay, so what? I guess Pocahontas 2 goes wherever we put Coming to America, where if you're traveling from or to the new world, as it were.
Yeah.
That is a 3.
6.
6? That's actually an
What?
isekai.
You want to say
So-
Pocahontas?
The thing here is, even though it's technically Earth, it is an undiscovered land. It is
It's literally called
But
the New
you
World.
know, if time
No,
travel
Pocahontas
is
2.
5, if you stay put in time and move in place, that has to go under time.
Yeah.
Because modern Japan is way more different than ancient medieval Europe,
Oh, damn.
than the New World colonies
You're right.
are to Europe.
I
You have been
apologize.
foisted by your own petard,
That is correct.
my friend.
5.5.
Ugh.
Yeah, I just want to. I love this. I want to say Pocahontas is an isekai. Pocahontas, sorry, 2.
Pocahontas 2.
Pocahontas
Only-
2.
We're gonna put the original here as a 1 because it's not. Actually, no, they changed location. Someone did travel. So
Pocahontas
it's a 2.
is a 2.
That's why Judge
a
Judy
reverse
is a 2 because people
isekai,
travel to see Judge.
It's a different
Judy.
place.
Wait,
Judge
Colonists
Judy
travel
is
to
a
the New
reverse
World.
isekai.
Pocahontas,
Technically.
the first Pocahontas, the main character is John Smith,
But he's
right?
been in the colonies for a while.
No, they just got there.
Did they
No,
just
they
get
just
there?
got there.
It's been a
And then
hot
he
minute.
found a 13-year-old girl he thought was hot, and it's super weird.
Only in real life.
Oh god.
So are both Pocahontas 1 and 2?
I think so.
But I feel like
Damn.
there's a certain element of being taken from your normal the sea. Like they went there, but I guess that's what Gate is.
Yeah. It comes
just
down
think-
to
I
what
The
the
think-
portal
main
opened
character.
uncontrollably. Like they were gonna have to deal with it.
What is the main character experiencing?
Travel.
Well, one of
Okay.
them is not moving, and one of them is moving. But I guess it's the opposite of that in Pocahontas too. They swap
Yeah.
because then John Smith's where he's supposed to be, and Pocahontas is not because she was taken. I think Pocahontas 2 is more isekai than Pocahontas 1. Is what I'm trying to declare.
Especially with that
A movie
subtitle,
I've never
to poke
seen.
Pocahontas.
Exactly.
Poke two Hannes, yeah.
All right, why don't we
Two
get? I know
pokes.
we have an R27 isekai to go through, so shall we?
Jesus.
Okay,
Let's
so
continue.
What do you
What
mean?
about-
You have to categorize literally every story
Piece of
ever
media
told.
that has
Yeah.
ever been
We're gonna make
told.
it.
So-
there's only been 27 other
In-
stories.
In
Let
in
Jordan
light of
was
that,
gonna take it. Let Jordan bat one.
well, we'll take this
I
back.
batted it up.
We're gonna talk about the Epic of Gilgamesh, the very first story ever, which is an isekai because in book 4, Gilgamesh travels to the realm of the gods in order to try and get it was like a potion or something, to bring Enkidu back from the dead.
Is God of War Data Boy version and its sequel?
Definitely
because you
an
travel
isekai.
through portals.
They go to Valhalla, right?
Yeah.
I
Well, I guess also
literally
literally Kratos
don't
has
s-
traveled from Greek
Yeah.
land to Viking land somehow,
He
whatever
doesn't do that
means.
in what you're seeing, though. So,
But he did it. Also, he canonically went to PlayStation All-Stars.
Yeah, he did.
That
that's a
canonically
good point.
happened.
Super Smash Brothers is an isekai.
Yes.
Super Smash Brothers is not
100%.
real. Super Smash Brothers canonical? Sony PlayStation All-Stars is canonical because Kratos says he was there. He talks about fighting the people he fought. That makes it canon to God of War. This is stupid, but it's wonderful.
Well, I think in Super Smash Brothers they are all canonically toys, and you're
Yes, if we
seeing
go
like
off
a
of Smash
toy.
Brothers,
Yeah, they're
one,
not
they
the
were
real
all
ones.
toys.
They're trophies.
Isn't it in Brawl? They just get turned into trophies.
Yes, but
No,
in
but
Smash
if you-
Brothers 1, that's what Master
Yeah, they
Hand is the
established.
hand coming up and animating and playing with the toys on the desk.
Right, but
True.
Good point.
That's what
So if that's not the
64 is.
actual, so Smash Bros is not. So God of War, it's definitely isekai.
Yeah.
Feels like a pretty heavy isekai too. I might.
But he
Eight-
travels through them. Like,
8 is
travel
good.
between most of the realms is generally...
No,
so
I
he's
actually think
he's
that-
an isekai, but I think he's
David, do
like...
not
what,
make its
7?
own tier. Do not. It's
Do not what?
that much. No, David, do not do it.
What are you
He's
talking
gonna
about? Not,
make it a
not
do
me.
it. Don't
gonna
do
start-
it. Don't do it. God damn it. Don't
No!
do it. It's
What are
not.
you doing?
Don't
It's not
do
an 11!
it. No.
Why?
No.
Why is it an 11?
Oh, B movie
Did
is.
it say
yes,
B
I agree
movie?
with this. Okay, that's
Okay,
fair.
No,
We're-
I think God of War is.
We
like
have
an
to end
8.
this podcast trying to make B movie an 11. That's how this podcast ends. We're not there yet. We have more ground to cover, but I want that to be the ending.
So actually,
So-
if you look at the first letter of every isekai,
It spells B movie.
it's literally the script to the B movie.
B movie is both not isekai and the most isekai.
Wait a minute. If you look at the second letter in every name, it's the Shrek movie.
I was gonna say, actually, no. Is Shrek an isekai? Is Stoop Kid an isekai? From
Oh,
Hey
Hey
Arnold. He never leaves his stoop. Is Stoop Kid
Yeah.
leaving his stoop
no.
an isekai? Is
All right,
that
we're
a
getting
is
to
it-
the point.
From his
I know
perspective.
that's silly. Yeah, I know.
Does anyone
the
have?
three.
Where
have
where
one.
did you put the Epic of Gilgamesh?
Oh, we didn't finish that. That's right.
That's a 7.
I think that one part.
But
of
so here's the
Epic of
problem: is
Gilgamesh
if
definitely
any
is.
supernatural, if you go on a mythical journey and you travel to a different world at any point, you're automatically an isekai. Because I feel like a big part of the isekai is the suddenness of changing worlds as well.
Yeah.
That's why it's not a 10.
But it's like familiar.
So
Look,
I guess that's,
if Little Nicky is a 7, which
Yeah, because
means
he was out of water.
he was literally thrown out.
yeah, but okay,
He
he's
was
going.
forcibly
literally
removed.
died
That
and
makes
came
it-
back many
That
times.
makes it more of an isekai. That's what Little Nicky's like an 8, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I
7,
can't
yeah.
read it from my phone, so
Well, it's a 7 on David's list.
that's fine.
Is that any better?
Well,
So let me
then
say
we
that
need to
to-
bump Little Nicky up, and we need to put Epic of Gilgamesh at a 7.
That's a 6. And Data Boy 6.
All right, that's fine.
Because I don't think they're not the core tenets of it.
No, see,
and they
the-
move fairly freely.
The
Well-
Odyssey is
No,
a 6.
No.
Yeah. I was
And
thinking about that.
We
yeah.
said no. We said land travel is sub 5.
He went to unexplored lands.
That's the New World. We said Pocahontas was like a 3.
Pocahontas
we
2
gave
is a 6.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I need to get this.
The
thing up on my
Odyssey
tablet.
is at least as much of an isekai as Pocahontas 2.
Doesn't he also
I-
go to the
yeah.
realm of the dead as well?
I'll give
Anyway,
you that.
In the Odyssey?
yeah. I thought he leaves.
Oh,
Doesn't
maybe.
he leave Earth
No,
anyway?
that's
Yeah,
the
it's the
Hercules
Odyssey.
movie.
Oh, whoops.
It's a Hercules and isekai.
I
I
probably
thought he
should have
went to the
reread
River
the
Styx
Odyssey.
and got
Probably.
advice from someone.
Yeah,
during
because he
that.
gets cast out of Olympus to Earth.
Oh,
I feel like that was that's important.
Is-
That's the thing we're finding is important for isekai is the,
Yeah.
the casting out of one into another.
okay.
Hercules is a 7.
Is Superman an isekai?
Yeah.
I mean, literally by that logic.
Yes.
Actually, no. That brings me to good because he goes through space. Is Farscape an isekai?
Probably.
A man is sent. A guy who is essentially that universe's NASA on Earth is sent through a portal. And admittedly, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, so I don't actually know if he moved through time. but he is now in a completely alien space with no way of contacting or getting home. He doesn't speak the language. He doesn't know what's going on.
That's more of an isekai than Stargate.
Okay. What about Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
He's going
Yeah.
through time, though.
All right, are we not just maintaining the
Quantum
scoring
Leap.
anymore? We have said like 8 series, not actually.
I know. We don't need to put a...
Why aren't
Yeah,
you writing
alright,
this down?
I give up. I want to know Planet of the Apes in an isekai.
I did have that on my
Good
list.
question.
Planet of the Apes in Isekai.
But isn't
I
that
mean-
time travel?
Yeah, it's a time travel isekai.
Gotcha, bitches.
So
But is travel... So what? We have land... Is space travel to unknown places more of an isekai than land travel?
space travel to unknown places would be on par with time travel.
So it depends. I think also how on purpose the traveling is. Like again, going to the world was arguably an isekai because you don't know what the fuck is going on. If you go there in Mars all the time, Mars stops being an isekai. But if you're trying to go to Mars and you get flung into Jupiter and now you have to figure out what the fuck's going on in Jupiter, that feels like an isekai because you didn't intend or be able to recreate the results of how you got into where you are in space.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Not as much isekai
There's
as
no
like the
isekai
John
to it
Carter
because
of
it's entirely
Mars.
established. It's entirely established travel.
Or Farscape,
But
where he
that-
just gets flung through a random portal when he's doing a space thing, and now he can't get back, and he's stuck in this literally completely alien place.
That makes
Yeah,
me
that
wonder
sounds like an
though. Then,
isekai.
if we say like, oh, they accidentally went to Jupiter instead of Mars, it's like, well, if there's no aliens or anything there, if there's no culture to interact with,
Ooh.
is it still so alien and foreign that it counts?
Is Alien a reverse isekai?
Does there need to be enough culture there to be out of your culture? Is Alien an isekai?
I
A
think
reverse
because
isekai, yeah.
because
The
they-
alien
the
is
chest burster?
Yeah, the alien isn't part of that culture. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
there was culture there. Like they're not necessarily there right now, but there is a culture to interact with.
An
That
HR
is
Giger
true.
planet?
Yeah.
But they don't
what is
stay
it, the
there.
space
I guess it is a
jockey?
reverse one because he leaves it.
Or,
Black Hole, the movie, where they have that ship that goes to hell. That's a reverse
yeah.
isekai.
Black Hole the comic is not an isekai.
Is Doom an isekai? I guess a reverse isekai.
Which Doom?
Doom
well,
2
no, Doom's
is an isekai, where
when
he
he-
goes from
yeah.
Mars to hell.
Yeah,
I
Wait,
would
was that
say.
also? Yeah, that's also Doom 3. So yes.
Yes. Look, they do it a lot in Doom, okay?
Yeah.
Right, because the first one would be a reverse isekai because hell comes to Mars.
Yeah, that's what I was
Frog
asking.
Town.
Yeah.
So are we? I want to still argue for the fact that faraway space travel to an alien culture is above a 5 in isekai. I don't care what the number is. Then
It
I
sounds
think
like
it makes the cutoff.
I mean, it's just yes or
Farscape
no
is
is an isekai is
So-
really what we're just
yeah.
asking.
it sounds like we're all in agreement that going to hell qualifies as an isekai.
Yeah.
So if you
Yes.
believe in hell, every bad person goes to an isekai and they die.
Well, as long as you believe in an afterlife, there's an isekai.
That's true.
Unless you
So I
believe
guess-
that you're just done, in which case you didn't go anywhere. You
I
just
guess
The
then we have
Bible
to
is an
agree.
isekai.
Yes, because Jesus comes from heaven
Yeah.
to come down to earth. It's an isekai. That was on
it's
my
a-
list.
It's both
Bible.
a regular isekai and a reverse isekai.
Isekai.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
So what about? But I guess if we're doing this, then by extension, the Divine Comedy is also an isekai.
Ooh, yeah. No, I think
Does he
that's
choose
Definitely.
to travel
clear.
there?
Is Made in Abyss an isekai?
I don't want to think about Main Abyss.
Okay, we won't.
I think
Thank
it is.
you.
I have one I've been wanting to talk to, if I may.
Go
ahead.
for it, David.
So, what happens if there's an area of the world that feels though like so completely different and unique, and you can't normally get in there, which takes away? So, my debate is, of course, I'm sure you all know, is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory an isekai?
I thought you were going to talk about that one movie that came out a couple years ago where there's like this weird like orb that's just growing and people just go into it and disappear.
Oh, I was thinking about Oblivion too.
Yeah.
That's the next one I wanted
Okay.
to debate.
Okay.
How about Journey to the Center of the Earth?
That's
It's going through Earth though, unless they go other places. I don't know.
But you're not really. But it's like the.
But
But again, it's the same principle as the frame Roger Rabbit, where the first people to go in Toon World, that was an isekai. It's not like it's easy peasy to go hang out with the dinosaurs that live under the earth. You know.
Right.
Is Willy Wonka? Didn't he used to have his thing open and then it closed? Does that change it?
Well, for the
It
kids,
used to
they
be
never have
it used to be
experience.
Yeah.
like Toontown.
Yeah.
It used to be
So,
open to the
again-
public, and then he shut it off, and then it changed because it was a while.
We've established that it's from the protagonist's perspective. So, from Charlie's perspective, yes, it is an isekai.
I mean, if Charlie went to the nice side of the neighborhood, he'd be experiencing an isekai. He lives in a shack.
Yeah.
But is going to Wonka's that much more? A world of pure imagination? You know what? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, isekai.
There we
Is
go. That was my
Jacob's
Black Horse
Ladder in Isekai?
I've not seen
You-
Jacob's
the,
Ladder.
The
I
story
don't
from the
know.
Bible?
No.
Rush song?
The movie with the most spoiled ending ever, but if you don't know it, I won't spoil it because it's a really good movie.
I know it's the thing that inspired Silent Hill.
It inspired the hell out of Silent Hill.
No,
That was-
the American one.
Yeah.
No,
F.
yes,
Inspired
that's-
Maybe
the
both
game.
of them.
it inspired both of them pretty hard. It inspired the original Silent Hill game.
His kindergarten cop an isekai.
That
Homecoming.
also
Homecoming,
inspired
there we go.
Silent Hill.
Jordan, that wasn't
Yes,
a
you're
coincidence.
right, Silent. Yeah.
Jordan's like, what are the odds he mentions two things that inspired Silent Hill?
I just need everybody to be on the same page for why David mentioned that.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
I'm in a
we
group
know.
of people
Brad,
that
did
have
you
seen
know that?
video essay.
Did you know that parts of Silent Hill, I don't remember if it's one or two, are
Yeah.
actually like stuff on the walls
Yes.
based on, yeah.
Yeah.
Also growing healthy and strong with Minmo.
It's not a tumor.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God. Let's see.
Are Dreamscapes isekai? Is Super Mario Brothers 2 and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening isekai?
And
I
let me
mean,
ask
that
you this.
falls into the category of the VR MMO.
Yeah, it's the same
ones.
same rule. Same with
Yeah,
the
you're right. You
Dream
leave a
Coma.
body behind. You
Is
leave a body behind.
Psychonauts in Isekai based on that?
Sometimes.
Same
No,
deal.
he doesn't leave his body behind.
You're
His-
right.
No, you're right. His psychic form goes into it. His body stays behind. So yeah, Psychonauts is at a 5 with all the other MMOs. Psychonauts is
Borderline,
an
yeah.
MMO. Borderline.
What about the coma ones? Because isn't it like my uncle got reincarnated and came back or whatever? It was a coma isekai.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
a
we
Uncle
watched,
from
like,
Another
one
World.
episode of that. We really should watch
Yeah.
more of it.
I loved
that-
Uncle from Another World.
But he wasn't in an MMO.
No.
But it was real because he wasn't a dream because he came back
Soul travel.
with he came back with powers, didn't he? Even if they were weak.
That's true.
So it was not just a dream. And while his corporeal body was left behind, he essentially went somewhere.
Can Neo do kung fu in real life?
Probably at the level of magic that Uncle can
He
use
should
now
be
that he's
able
back.
to. Yeah.
Because he downloaded
Yeah.
it right into his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should be able to.
And so if we say that Uncle in Another World is
I feel like
a
it's hard.
full-on isekai, then so's The Matrix.
I feel like it's very hard to argue that Uncle from Another World is not or at
Exactly.
least
Like
supposed
that's
to
why
isekai.
it's like such
Here's
a
the thing,
what's
though.
what makes that one
So-
an isekai where the others don't? Because it has so much other isekai trappings in what he did.
But here's the thing: the reason why the Matrix is like complicated. No, he is in a coma. Never mind. Yeah, that is. Well, it's like it's complicated to think about. Even like
He's in suspended animation.
he's in suspended animation, but he's also in the real world, but he's also not. So it's like a reverse isekai into an isekai world,
Into reality.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's confusing by virtue of when we got there to see what was going on.
Yeah. What about Army of Darkness? What you guys think about that?
What the third
Oh,
one's
definitely.
100%
Isn't
isekai.
that
Yeah.
Is that not time travel?
Yeah.
Or I guess is it a different?
Well,
Yeah, but it's got to be an isekai.
Oh, I forgot the
really.
time travel.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
It is
but
just
still.
time travel.
So wait, so for Planet of the Apes, it's an isekai for like the first 95% of that movie, and then when the twist reveals, like it's not an isekai anymore.
Yeah, we learned it wasn't an isekai.
Yeah,
that was
it's
why I
just
said
funny
with
how some people
Farscape,
lose
as far
isekai
as I
status.
know.
It shifts. It's like, oh, it's an isekai. Oh no, it's isekai adjacent. It's right there. It's
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
I don't.
It lived next
I
door
don't know
to
if
Isekai.
I can go along
It
with this whole
visits
time
isekai
travel's
all the
not
time.
an isekai thing. If being taken to England, like we have established with Pocahontas too, makes you an isekai, then time
Yeah.
travel is so much weirder, puts you in such a stranger place.
I still said
This-
Pocahontas, and that was sub 5, but that was me.
We can-
but that's a good point, David.
So what you
Jordan,
would
sorry.
do is you would establish that time travel itself does not make an isekai, but time travel that puts you in a position that is so far beyond your normal
So is
everyday
tricks
life.
dedicated to witches and
so
isekai?
tricks
'Cause I would
dedicated
say
to
it
witches
is.
would
I would
be,
say
but
it
Back
is.
to the Future
Back to the Future
wouldn't
is
be.
not, unless they went back to essentially like those times.
Because
So Back to
even-
the
he has
Future
control.
3 is an isekai. How about
That
I
that?
thought
would
we
certainly
Is there plumbing where you are going?
that would certainly be on the line. You could make an argument that it is, but it's still fairly close in time.
The
Yeah.
50s and the 80s are not, or I guess the 2000s when they go to the future.
The 20s,
We've gone beyond it.
20.
What about the comic book I
22?
read once called I think it's King Arthur 3000, where King Arthur comes back to life in the year 3000 to fight aliens.
Nice.
Well, I mean, if we
Oh,
want,
it's called Camelot 3000. That comic
There
kicks
you go.
ass, by
That's
the
a
way.
way better. It's a way better name.
having brought that up, we should mention the first American isekai,
Yes.
A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
A
by
Connecticut,
Mark
a
Twain.
Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. Connecticut.
Thank you.
No,
Sorry.
A Kid
Kid
in King Arthur's Court.
is a movie.
It's
Yes.
the movie with Ralph Macchio and I believe, oh my God, James Bond. Fuck.
Which one? Sean Connery?
No, the
Brosnan?
Casino Royale.
Daniel
Oh.
Craig.
Daniel
Daniel
Craig.
Craig.
Yes, Daniel Craig.
I mean, Black Knight. If we're are we declaring if these are all isekais, that means Black Knight is also an isekai.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
making sure we're on the same page.
is the end of Monty Python an isekai?
Wait,
The
you mean
end
Holy
of
Grail?
Monty Python.
Do you mean Holy Grail?
Which
yeah,
one?
Holy Grail. Because they
when
get
the
arrested
cops
at the
show
end.
up?
Yeah.
Being arrested, jail, being thrown in
arrested.
jail is isekai.
I'm just saying,
Or
they're
is it?
They're clearly gonna be thrown into a modern prison cell.
It's not clearly established if they've traveled through time.
Or if they're just LARPing.
That cop out ending.
It's the best. It's fucking best.
It took me too long to figure that out because I saw
I
that
need to
movie when
rewatch it. I was
kid, and
supposed
now
to with Rachel's dad, my wife's dad, and then he fell
I
asleep.
have not
so we
seen
never
it
actually
in
watched
so long.
Me neither.
I'd want to go back to it. Okay, what else? What are some dumb bullshit things we haven't pulled in yet? So
Well, I'll
we've
tell you what
traveled
the-
through space
the
and
dumb
time,
bullshit
locationally.
thing was I spent all this time
Making the list.
finding this list of things, and these are all like actual manga and anime.
Yeah, that was
Instead of
never what
whatever
this
the
is
hell we're
about, Brad. Come on, get with the times.
Okay. What about Groundhog Day? What do we think about that?
But he's
He's just
stuck in
traveling
place.
It's traveling
it's
one
like-
day
it
at a
is.
time.
Because it's a time travel.
But
so
is it a state of being? Is going every day forward different than being stuck in the same day over and over again in a loop? Because I could argue that being a different act of him before he got stuck in the loop and during it are two different world things.
I
Yeah.
don't think. If anything, it is a regression.
It'd be a low level, but I
Yeah.
guess you're right. Yeah, it's like a ReZero, so it's adjacent.
yeah.
Because here's the thing: everyone is going to experience tomorrow. He just experiences, or today. Everyone experiences 24 hours. That's not isekai. He just is experiencing a non-isekai 24 hours over and over again.
Although you could argue that going to Punxsutawney is a different world.
For him.
I
that
mean,
was my
it's-
argument
No,
is not
for
that
everybody.
He's
Have you ever
doing
been
the
there?
Loop. It's that he was in a
No.
state where he
a
wasn't in
weird
the
place.
loop and he
I
entered a
believe it.
state unexpectedly and uncontrollably. He uncontrollably went into a crazy new state he was not in before. That
Yeah.
was essentially a new world where he could kill himself with toasters.
So a 3-day mental hold is an isekai.
Would it be a one day?
How many? No, what? For Groundhog's Day, he was stuck for, depending on who you ask, like
when
hundreds of days.
in a hospital, 3 days is like the max they can keep you without against
you're
your
a-
will.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you're uncontrollably thrown.
again.
Yeah.
So being
Well, that's the
arrested
cops. We went back to the cops. If you
Being
uncontrollably
arrested
are
is an
arrested, are you experiencing an isekai?
Sir, are you experiencing an isekai right now?
Sir, you were driving very fast. Are you trucks on?
Are you attempting to send somebody into an isekai right now, sir?
I'll isekai you.
God.
Oh God. If somebody, this is terrible. What was it called? What's the cult with the Kool-Aid?
Jim
Jonestown.
Jones.
Yeah, Jones was. This is all this.
What?
I've listened to too much true crime to drive the truck back now. Is Jonestown? Did they experience an isekai?
I mean, they
By
were.
dying?
because they thought they were going to some like space
Yeah.
consciousness,
And
weren't
maybe they did.
No,
like
you're
Ocean
thinking.
Riku
No,
or
that's
something?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. Sorry, you
Oh,
were right.
yeah,
I got my.
yeah.
They're
death
they're
cults
two
mixed up.
different.
Jonestown was the guns. Yeah.
Because the Jonestown people didn't really want to die
Yeah.
in the same way. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't think, oh, I'm gonna go to I'm not gonna go to like a fucking comet. It's just that like their leader told them to kill themselves, basically. Like,
Everybody who dies in any state is in a Schrodinger's isekai, depending on if there is an afterlife
Yeah.
or not.
that's
I think
true.
it depends on what they believe.
What?
Like
I
if you're
think-
We don't know. We are the ones that get to mark if it's an isekai or not, and we don't know because
well, but
we're
it's
alive.
from that person's perspective. So like a Christian who dies, who asks Jesus for forgiveness, they go to heaven. That's an isekai.
Yeah.
As an atheist, I'm going to go to hell. So that's also an isekai.
Well, from their point of view, but not from yours.
I think
It's all about the protagonist's point of view.
I think that the Heaven's Gate cult members believed that they were going to go to an isekai.
At least some of
They
them.
believed they were going to be in a more true state than just a normal regular athlete, that they were actually going to go somewhere else in space.
Some of them
Yeah.
were forced to drink the Kool-Aid.
True.
so-
Yes, but some of the ones
Well,
who
no,
believed,
that's
the ones who
Jonestown
believed
cult.
were,
Again,
yeah.
the Jonestown cult they were forced to. The Heaven's Gate cult didn't have
Children,
Kool-Aid.
I can't keep them straight.
flavored.
They're all dead now. Who cares?
Yeah, we're all dead. We're all
No, not actually. There are
Very slowly experiencing
Heaven's Gate
isekai.
cult members who are still alive and think that everybody who died actually did go on an isekai
Yeah.
to Haley's Comet.
Oh man, they must be pissed
Isn't that something with
off.
Xenology? Don't they have a thing? I don't know what Scientology's up to.
Xenu?
anymore. I don't think I ever
Scientology
did.
is an isekai because all of the alien souls came here and inhabited human beings.
Is that how that works?
We are an isekai, aren't we? Aren't we though? Is being born an isekai?
Is body
Yeah.
swapping?
Yeah,
You're in a completely different
ask to be
world that you
born.
have no idea about.
Is Freaky Friday an isekai?
Oh,
No.
When you
no,
swap
because they're in the
bodies?
same world.
but they're experiencing the world from a different
Oh,
perspective.
shush.
Imagine you had to
Perspective
go
is
back.
one thing.
Imagine you had to go back to high school as an adult now.
I die. I die.
Is that a different world?
I didn't go to high school. So.
I have a Zoomer coworker
Lucky.
now, and it's very strange.
Oh god. Yeah, going to high school is an isekai sometimes.
Yeah.
So high school, what is it? DxD, whatever that one.
What?
That
Yeah, I
has
know what you're
all,
talking about.
Yeah, that's an isekai. Then.
Yeah, that's an isekai.
the one with the zombies and like,
Oh, yeah.
all of those
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
Is there some way that we can contort Lord of the Rings into being an isekai?
Well, it totally is
We need
because
Ben for that.
I mean the entirety of Middle Earth, like that's where the Valar go down to, and so
Bringing
Yeah.
in the Silmarillion, nice, yeah.
You know Dungeons and
not to
Dragons?
mention like
Oh,
the hobbits are in the Shire. So even if we do it from the perspective
place
of
one,
Bilbo
though.
or Frodo,
That's a lower
they've
tier one
n-
because
they don't even have any idea what's outside of the Shire, and they
they're
have to
still,
travel
They're still in the
so
same contiguous
far.
things. The birds bring them back. It's one contiguous place.
It's-
got some isekai
It's as
juice
much
in
of
it.
an isekai as Pocahontas.
Yes, agreed.
yeah.
That I will cede to you.
But yes, the
Just
Silmarillion
traveling
is
long
full on
distances
isekai.
is an isekai. I got on a plane. Oh man, I'm going to a different culture.
Hey, if we visit-
isekai.
Yeah.
If we
I love
visit
it.
Japan,
So good.
If we visit Japan,
That's an isekai.
we will be at an isekai.
Yeah. God damn it. Yes.
What's another form of big change that we have not covered yet? We've done time travel. We've done dreams.
oh, wait a minute.
We've done portals to strange places.
So you know how there's all these isekai where the protagonist goes to a different world, and then they're like, "Oh, there's slavery here. Guess I'll participate in it."
yes, we talk about this a lot, and then I go to the Big John
What?
Brown energy.
Is
Yeah.
Brad, what are you doing?
Is the,
Brad,
There are isekai
what are
like
you
that.
doing? I already had to bring up.
is the transatlantic
Brad,
slave trade.
cut this! Fuck off! Fuck this! No, you can't
No.
do this. You can't do this. Brad, I am
Damn it.
genuinely upset. How? Why? Was Pocahontas? I'm stopping. New topic. No.
That's probably the most offensive thing
That
I've
one's
ever said.
bad. I was getting Death Cult was getting really dancing on the line, and that one's that one's not for public airing.
Was 9/11 an isekai?
Off
Getting
Jordan.
worse. We have to stop. We have to
Somehow
stop.
that's not as bad.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Oh god.
Dear God. We were talking about it earlier. Is Silent Hill an isekai when they go to the weird the world
Yeah.
becomes all
Because
rusty?
Silent Hill's not. Yeah.
like
yeah.
it's a physical place, but it's not.
It's a demi-plane. I mean, God of War, all of those planes are
Yeah,
on
yeah,
set on
true.
top of
Yep.
each other.
Spoiler alert, isn't it all in his head?
What, Silent Hill?
Yeah.
It
No,
depends.
well, in what it's different in every game.
Like Silent Hill 1 and 3 are connected where his kid grows up and goes through the things he went through. So those events definitely happen.
Everybody, I mean, if you go from 2 and 3, everybody's seeing their own stuff. They're but they're all physically in the same area. It's like instant stuff in an MMO.
Wouldn't that be sort of like the coma level of like you're experiencing a thing in your head?
No, but you are there.
Your
it's
that physical
one's not
body is
clear,
there.
because that's like supernatural.
But isn't the stuff that's happening not actually happening in the real world?
No, but it is happening to them. As far as we know, people who die in there, when you get damaged in that area, you keep that damage when you leave.
Oh, there's
Silent
some
Hill.
kind of magic that's manifesting those things.
So
Yeah.
essentially, you're sent to
Okay.
a parallel dimension that is a hellish version of the real world, but it is not like I don't think if you break something in the other world, it's reflected in the main world. So they are
I mean, unless you
completely
break your own bones.
Yeah, but things that happen to
You
you
are the consistency.
things that
It's
happen
like
to you
Vegas.
stay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Is
don't know
Vegas
the,
an
Vegas-
isekai?
Maybe.
I don't know the exact
I don't wanna
details
go.
of
Yeah.
Silent Hill, but I'm fine with calling it isekai.
Yeah, it's the MMO, but your body's there because it's weird supernatural.
Yeah.
Mumbo
I
jumbo.
have
think-
another isekai topic. What happens if your
Yeah.
spirit leaves the body but you stay on Earth? Like, is Yu Yu Hakusho an isekai?
Well, that's just dying, though.
That's just
No, but like, what if you're
Oh
going?
yeah,
like-
you're right because he was a corpse.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
died and then he came back, but he still kind of left. So I don't know.
But that's, I mean, we
I-
covered that with Uncle Isekai, whatever it's called.
But he was in a coma, wasn't
was in a
Or
coma.
But
was-
what's
and he-
but what's really the difference if your
'Cause he
body
didn't
comes
die.
back at some
because
point,
his
like
heart was beating.
like Yu Yu Hakusho,
He was legally
His heart
alive
wasn't
during the
beating.
entire isekai experience.
right? But like, it's
Again,
still
we
your
have
body.
to bring Judge Judy into this.
I if your body comes back,
if you were gonna get put into the ground, that's dead.
but why does that
it's
matter?
not a coma.
Is
You
is,
Because
still
you're not
come
supposed
back.
to come back.
is Half-Life an isekai?
the end
Yes, he goes through portals to other places.
Yeah.
In Zen, is
Half-Life
Portal
1
an
is.
isekai?
No.
No.
Ironic,
science-
isn't it?
Yes.
Fuck off, Jordan. I hate how right.
What does being dead have to do with it?
Because you're not supposed to. You can
That
come
was the
back
whole
from a
point of
coma.
why
You're not supposed.
the-
It's why when you sleep and you experience the little death that we described that is not as isekai.
Little
think
death
dreams
is
are an isekai.
orgasms. That's what little death means.
Oh, is that what I could have sworn? Sleep was the little. Death.
No, the little death is orgasming.
God said people
It's
can
the-
have a
hypnosis
little
is the
bit
cousin
of
of
death,
death.
There's
as a
little
treat.
death. That's a treat.
You can have a little death.
little death.
I thought we established that if you are physically alive, it doesn't count as an isekai. That's why the uncle reincarnation and all the cyberspace stuff doesn't count.
No, Uncle.
It's on the line.
Uncle, the Uncle anime has to be an isekai. I refuse to budge on this.
Okay,
I
I agree.
refuse.
It's because
Nope,
he brings
agreed.
back There's a supernatural where he brings stuff back. Okay, that's fair.
Because that's why it's not like a dream or an MMO. Because it's like he was essentially there.
By
Yeah.
those rules, Yu Yu Hakusho is an isekai because he goes to the afterlife
Yeah.
and then he comes back.
Yeah, and he brings his abilities with him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so Yu Hakusho is an isekai.
Those things canonically happened.
Yep.
Inuyasha
bodily
is an
habits.
isekai.
Oh, I
she
found
goes
a-
back in time. She gets some cool ass powers.
What
she
does?
comes
What is?
back. Inuyasha.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have another one. What?
Yes.
How do we treat if you were cloned with your memories?
Oh damn!
So if you died and you're cloned with your memories, is that an isekai?
Are the later
So like it's
Dune
Jurassic
books in
Park,
isekai?
isekai for the dinosaurs. No,
Why is
but-
that the example you guys? Jurassic Park.
No, but in
Those
all
are new
sincerity-
dinosaurs. They're not they
Yeah.
are. They're. I don't. I mean, maybe they have the same personalities. I don't know.
So the
Duncan,
We're Back
Idaho
movie, they
is an
had
isekai.
memories before they were cloned.
That's yeah.
Are those
They,
dinosaurs?
I've never
isekai'd?
seen We're Back. Did they not? I just always assumed they just came through a portal.
No,
No,
that's
apparently-
definitely.
I
Well,
think they
either
were in
way, that's an
Jurassic Park.
isekai.
Yeah, true.
So if you're cloned from memory, and I told you we had one more. We
Well,
had
no, you're
one
in
more
the same
Okay.
spot. You're just.
Yeah, I think it
I mean, you're
depends.
reincarnated in a new clone.
as
Okay.
yourself.
Okay.
Technically, as yourself, reincarnated in the same world as myself.
If
Okay.
if your clone is then in a situation that is outside of your pre-existing mental capacities, then-
Okay.
then it can.
So wait, if cloning is that, if you go by certain interpretations of the Star Trek teleporter,
I was just thinking the Star
Yes.
Trek teleporter
Yes.
when he mentioned this.
if
yes.
you're technically dying and being rebuilt atom by atom or molecule by molecule in the other end,
Yes.
you've suffered death and now you are in a different world, an alien world you've never been to. Is Star Trek a series of isekais? Because they die and go somewhere else.
Look at me as if I'm going to be like,
Because
oh,
I can't
don't
look
know.
at everybody else,
I
Brad.
don't think that you can.
I can look at the camera. Well, I'm also mostly hidden behind a microphone.
I would argue that they
Jordan and
really.
David, what do you think of this concept?
I think that they really kind of missed a lot of they missed a lot of opportunities with the teleporters, because I always felt that it's like, oh no, he died on the mission. We'll just make him back again, because we just did that once. We could just do that again, right?
Yeah.
But they never called on that because it would destroy the entire series.
Wasn't there? I've only
There
heard
was
tell
that-
when people have this conversation that there was like a weird half-formed Riker that got formed on the planet when
Yeah.
he got teleported back, or like the vessel that got teleported up, the one that was still on the planet, never died in the transfer.
I think they
process.
established why that can't work in the one episode with the Dyson sphere, where James Doohan is like stuck in a teleportation loop, and they get him out, and he's like, "I'm in the fucking future." Or, do you not know that episode?
I don't know that
I've
episode.
not seen all
Oh
of
my
Star
god,
Trek.
it's great.
Hear people
Which
talk.
one-
So
What series
the
is it in?
Enterprise gets sucked inside. So they find a Dyson sphere.
Real quick, is this Next Generation?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they find a Dyson sphere, and they're like, "Oh, it's a Dyson sphere. That's weird, but we're gonna analyze it." And then they're like, "Hey, there's a ship crashed on the surface." And so I think it was just Geordi teleports into this ship, and he's like, "I'll check out the ship." And as soon as he teleports, a door opens on the Dyson sphere and sucks the Enterprise in. So they're on the inside of it, and there's a star in there, and it's like, oh, what? But then Geordi is on the ship, and he's like, what's going on? And then he's like, oh, this ship's teleporter has this weird thing going on. There's still someone in the buffer. They talk about it's like a buffer, so it's not
shoot.
there's no data that they can save. And so he presses the button, and it's Scotty. Scotty was stuck in the teleporter, and it's James Doohan, and he's on Enterprise, and that's awesome.
But that means I'm correct, and they just never did anything with it.
But they
Yeah.
can't,
Except
that's
for
what I'm
that
saying.
one episode. But
They can't save.
he's
They
stuck
can't
in the
save
buffer.
people's data.
You can only cache your bodily your mind, body, soul. You cannot save it.
I think there has to be some kind of way for them to do that. They just haven't done it. I
You've
think
They
that
only-
I refuse
the
to
tele-
believe that's
The
too much.
No,
all right?
listen. The teleporter only uses RAM. They don't have a hard drive.
But theoretically, it would be possible
Theoretically, they could, but then you
eventually.
would just start printing people.
Probably ethically, they don't save
just-
people's data.
There's ethics, not
Yeah.
not every species, species or culture in this. We're just talking about Star Trek now.
However, original series Star Trek, there are isekai episodes because there's
Yes.
a whole one about like the evil universe and all that, and they all
Yes.
have little
The goatees, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goatees.
So wait, if you have an evil dimension and they invade or otherwise, does that make the thing an isekai?
Yeah, or reverse
Yes.
isekai.
Yeah,
Okay,
reverse
yeah.
isekai.
Community is then an isekai
Yes.
because there's evil Abed, there's evil Troy and evil Abed.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
That's an easy one.
that was an easy one.
That was an isekai.
Is Friends an isekai?
No.
Why?
Why would Friends be an isekai? I want to hear this argument.
Because they came to New York.
Let them cook.
Come on, you said it.
It's a question.
Is my big fat Greek wedding 2 where they go to Greece or what is that?
You can't run
what's the
away from
musical?
this.
Is
You can't
Mamma
run
Mia
away.
an
Is
isekai?
Mamma Mia does Mamma Mia 1 or Mamma Mia 2 where they go to Greece?
I think it's the first one.
I thought in the sequel they go to Greece.
No, they don't go to Greece in the first. Oh, yeah, Mommy is saying Greece. I've seen it.
Okay, yeah.
Friends.
You got it. You got to back yourself
Why
up.
did
bud,
you
if you're
pitch
gonna
something
come
that
in.
you weren't sure about?
Well, we were talking about sitcoms.
I assume that's. But
If a character goes from one show to the other, like the time the dad from Fresh Prince showed
Joey.
up on the other one.
Joey's an isekai. He goes to L.A. He lived in New York that whole time.
I don't know enough about him to wait on this.
I've
I'm
not
sorry,
seen that
bud.
show much.
I haven't seen
The
Joey.
Joey show that I think was only like one
Oh,
season.
I was gonna say, did anybody see
spin-off
that
an
show?
Isekai? Is a spin-off an isekai? Is Mork and Mindy an isekai? Because
Is
it-
Frasier
Mork and
an
Mindy
isekai?
is, yeah.
well, I guess
Ooh,
Mork and
yeah.
Mindy is literally an isekai because he came from his planet.
Mork and Mindy is literally an isekai. Yes.
Yeah, I don't picked a bad example, or maybe a good one.
Wait, where is Cheers set?
Oh, are
I
you
don't-
trying to make an argument for
Because
Frasier?
Frasier's
Yeah, Frasier.
in Seattle.
Yeah.
Isn't Cheers in Chicago?
Cheers is in Boston because the bar
Is
is,
it
in the
Boston?
Boston
Yeah.
level of Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
So, yeah, Frasier's an isekai.
I think there are
Frasier's
some
a low
levels in
level.
the. I think there are some levels in Pro Skater that you could argue are isekai
Oh, yeah.
in the Pro
Yeah.
Skater games.
Yes.
Is
Almost
skateboarding an
assuredly.
isekai?
Yeah.
Is what?
Is skateboarding
Go-
an isekai?
Going to the X Games is an isekai.
Yeah. And you're going
Feels
to the
like
extreme.
Go. Yeah.
Is climbing Mount Everest an isekai?
Is die? We already said dying is an isekai. So and
Is
traveling
Die Hard an isekai
Is
Ooh.
Aladdin
in which
an
you go
isekai?
to Christmas?
Ooh, is Die Hard an isekai?
the first ever Christmas isekai?
A man is isekai'd in it when he pushes what's his name off the building.
Just
So
imagine that
dying is just always any movie where anybody dies is just
They are being
automatically
I mean, all
as an
a lot of
isekai.
religions are built on the debate if you isekai or not when you die.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Fuck.
Is his character a Truxon? Only certain people when they kill people will isekai them. It's not everybody. Only certain people. That's why there are Truxans
Yeah.
or other form, whatever other forms they take.
Chuck Sands?
Truxans.
Truck Sands. Okay.
The guy who
yeah,
drives
I
the
didn't
truck.
hear you,
We have
yeah.
called him Truxan.
Ah, yes. God. Let's see.
Have we exhausted our lists of American things to see if they were?
Is
I
Mean
guess-
Girls in Isekai?
Why
Oh,
would
that's
Mean
true.
Girls
She
be an
lived in
isekai?
Africa
She lived
before
in
she
South
lived in
Africa, then came to
She was out of her
America.
element. You're
Out
right,
of her
you're right.
element. Therefore, an Isekai.
Therefore, a low-level
Incontrovertible. Is RoboCop an Isekai now?
Well, he does die and he's reborn.
He does die, and
That
he's
time I got
There is a
reincarnated as a
reincarnation
cop.
portion, which we said is important to this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's also a cop.
he is literally an analog for Jesus. That was intentional. That is
Everything's
true.
an analog.
I'm going to
for
take this
Jesus.
moment to tell a funny story about RoboCop that has nothing to do with this that a friend turned me on to. So supposedly there's a story that the guy who played RoboCop denies ever happening. From the people who worked on it. What's the guy who played RoboCop? Does anyone remember his name?
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller. So supposedly, when he's in
I just watched
costume,
RoboCop. Yeah.
RoboCop rules. He
Yes.
stayed in character, and that he saw somebody eating Oreos, and he wanted one. He just goes, "Robo want Oreo," and he just kept repeating it over and over again until he was given a cookie, and this continued over and over again. Peter Weller completely denies this happened, but this guy who was on set working with him was just like, no, he was just a super big asshole about eating all my cookies. And this is the thing that has sat with me for a while.
I refuse to
You can
believe
Google
Peter
it.
Weller. I'm taking this guy's side. I believe him. Yes.
So back on track. Have we settled every different possible isekai type thing?
It's gotta be more that
We've
haven't
moved
thought
through
of.
time,
Wait.
through space, through bodies. We've gone to hell and back.
Oh,
We've gone to other worlds. We've traveled through space.
What about
we've
being
gone
brought
into
back
the
to
human
life?
mind? What?
Brought back to life. So is there
I mean,
also has to be a
you're
gap?
where you're at.
that's reincarnation, right?
No, I mean,
well,
like
reincarnation is you're somebody different, isn't it?
I'm talking D&D style.
What about-
Revivify?
Or what about we? I guess Bill and Ted. Yeah, where does Bill?
Bill and Ted is an isekai. They go
Yeah,
all
it's
over the
gotta
place.
be,
I
right?
literally
Also-
I saw the sequel. I was on most of the sequel.
I
I was
need
on
to see
vacation.
that.
They go
Yeah.
all over the place.
Barbie is an isekai.
Barbie is an isekai.
Barbie is an isekai.
Well, no. Well, Barbie.
No, it's 100% isekai.
Yeah.
She
Well, no.
comes from Barbie.
Barbie is the beginning of when Who Framed Roger Rabbit world was an isekai.
Yeah.
Because people have traveled between them, but it is so restricted
Yeah.
as to essentially be
Yeah. Is Oppenheimer an isekai?
no.
Is Inception an
reason?
isekai?
No,
Is
because it's not
Inception-
physical
because
bodies.
It's dreams.
Inception falls
Or is it?
under VR MMO rules.
Yeah. Dream rolls.
Okay. Okay.
What was the other Nolan film where everything was going backwards?
Memento.
No,
Or no,
no,
the
no.
other one that nobody
There was
watched.
two?
and
The
got
one that
really
didn't make
pissy
any
about
sense.
It.
What?
Oh,
Did you know that like
Tenet.
on the?
Tenet. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen the other.
If time goes in reverse, is that an isekai?
No, because
I didn't know
time
Tenet
travel.
also went back in time.
But
So-
you're completely out of your element because you're experiencing things the wrong way around.
So did you guys
Is
know that
Memento
like
an isekai?
that like on the original Memento DVD you could like find an Easter egg that just put the entire movie in chronological order?
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see that.
Yeah. It seems like it would destroy the movie, but would be interesting.
Yeah,
You would definitely watch that after you.
yeah, you
Oh,
would watch
yeah.
it. Like I've seen Memento in
Yeah.
quote unquote proper
Oh,
order,
yeah,
but to
yeah.
have it arranged forward instead of
Yeah, it's like
stepping
Autemen
backward.
or something.
Also, Interstellar's an isekai, right?
Which one's that? What's the
Ooh.
bit
That's
on
the
that
space
one?
travel one.
What's special about it?
Because he
goes
goes to
into a
different
black
worlds and he
hole.
travels in time and shit.
Yeah.
What about 2001?
That's definitely an isekai.
What's the isekai part about it?
The end.
I didn't get that far.
Yeah. I only
Well,
got
first of all,
2000.
he gets reincarnated.
Oh, well,
As
there you go.
as
Is
a
he somewhere
giant
else?
baby. Yes.
That sounds very isekai.
yes.
Well, that's perfect.
As the Star Child.
I know, it's like, what are other classic sci-fi in similar films?
Is The Exorcist a reverse isekai?
Because a demon is cast out.
Well, no, it comes from hell and goes in that little girl.
Yeah, and then they try to cast it
Yeah.
out. They try to resekai it.
They reisekai. That's good. I like that.
Is Jason X an isekai?
What's special about that
That's
one?
the
Which
space
one's that?
one.
It's when
Oh,
Jason.
it's in space.
Oh yeah.
I don't see why not.
Isn't
Jason
there?
is isekaiing.
Isn't there an isekai where Jason is in hell and possessing people?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's-
Which one's that?
I think it's
Possession?
Jason's
I mean, I
in
guess we just
hell.
said the demon.
the Final
demon,
Friday.
like
I think it's called.
No, is the Exorcist an isekai? Is the demon physically inside the little girl, or is he playing an MMO? Is he dream soul stating into
I
the
think
girl?
he's physically in
Is
her body.
possession? So I guess that we have agreed that possession is not. Is not an isekai.
Not necessarily.
Unless
it depends
it's a,
where
like
the
in this case, it's
possessor
if
comes
it's
from.
a ghost, they're just already around. But if it's a demon coming from hell,
Yeah.
then it is because we've described travel. Because Little Nicky on the Little Nicky thing, we've described to and from hell.
What about
Isekai.
Beetlejuice?
Definitely.
Yeah, wherever they are. Yeah,
Because like
He
They're-
sends
Just
the
takes her
sand
to the demon
dimension?
world.
yeah, the
Or
weird
the underworld.
sandworm.
Yeah.
yeah.
They travel to Dune.
Yeah, is Dune an
travel to
isekai?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
from Paul's perspective, I think it is.
Yeah.
Because that's a completely unknown world to him that he's
Yeah.
suddenly has to deal with.
Is God Emperor of Dune an isekai?
So I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Because Leto II, he's there the whole time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Make a God Emperor of Dune movie, you cowards.
They'll
you
get to it
cowards.
eventually.
They're
No,
gonna
they
get to,
won't.
They have to.
No, they said
They-
they're not gonna.
They're
They
not
said they're
gonna?
not going to. They're going to adapt Dune Messiah and then stop.
Yeah.
Why?
Wow.
I think that's probably
So
fine.
rude.
I know. Who cares that God Emperor of Doom is like of Dune is like a borderline unadaptable book that you could like not turn into a movie. Do it, you coward.
Oh, what was I just thinking?
I've got one more that I probably shouldn't do.
Do it.
Can't be worse than what I said earlier.
It's not worse than what you said. I at least have some basis in this to an extent. Is transitioning an isekai? We are not the humans to fully answer this
I'm
question.
not talking
but
about this.
That's okay.
But I respect my trans homies.
Absolutely.
That's why it's like I've had this idea and I know enough people and we are not the. This council can decide many things. I don't think that is one of them. Now that I
think you have to ask.
I think we have to ask.
You have to ask them, you say, do you identify as an isekai protagonist?
Do you identify as an isekai? There you go. Anybody who's made it this far, who is also trans or an egg, let us know. Let us know. We of the many things we can decide,
It's an individual choice.
this is not one of them.
We established earlier that picking if something is an isekai is an individual choice.
Is that the end? Is that going to be the ending wrap up lesson of this? You get to decide if you're an isekai, and that's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's all up to interpretation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really about the
Anything-
isekais you don't reincarnate in.
I knew you were gonna do a jazz thing.
It's really the jazz note references that you don't make.
yeah.
There-
I'd
How
agree.
have I never heard that joke before?
And then finally, though, I think I have one last isekai to
Yep.
discuss, if I may. Is debating if other isekais are an isekai
No,
or not in
no,
itself.
no,
an
no,
isekai.
no.
I feel like my experience here has put me
No.
into a new world that I wasn't in before of knowing too much about isekai.
I mean, we have to level set that podcasting itself is an isekai.
That's true. That is fair. Is playing a video game at all an isekai?
well, we said an MMO wasn't.
Only
He's
the really
doing
immersive
anything.
ones.
It's doing anything in isekai.
I mean, VR.
Every second you are in an isekai. Every
VR 's
moment
Are
you
you-
walk
are
down the
you-
street.
Can you truly say that you are the exact same person in the exact same place that you were 3 seconds ago?
Due to quantum fluctuations,
The planet is always moving.
every moment of Planck time is an isekai.
The smallest unit of time, you were in a different set of coordinates. You were not the moment before.
It's very true. Is evolution an isekai?
Ooh.
Or the X-Men.
House of M is an isekai.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
definitely is.
Days of Future Past, I would argue, is an isekai.
I mean, he does change things.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't
sort of
exist anymore.
Turns itself into an isekai.
Is Doctor Strange an isekai protagonist because he's constantly going to new worlds? And
Just same as
realities?
Doctor Who, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, good point. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, how do we land this plane now? I don't know. We did.
The council has spoken.
Do we have any closing remarks on our decisions of isekai, of what is and is not isekai? If you, puny listener, under the auspices of the directorial isekai selecting squad,
Whatever we said at the
choosing
beginning.
squad,
So here's what I will
feel
say.
otherwise.
Much like how law of obscenity is litigated in America, you can't define it, but you know it when you see it.
Yep,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
there you go. I like it.
I mean, except for the technical definition. It's totally defined.
That's
All
fair.
right,
Yeah.
all
No,
right.
Isekai, I guess isekai is different then, actually. Yeah.
Get out of here.
If it's not a technical isekai, it's an isekai in your heart.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
How do you end this?
Uh,
I end so many podcasts. What do you do to stop?
You end it like this. Guys, this has been so much fun.
Yeah, there you
Thank
go.
you so much for doing this
Thank you
with
for
us.
joining us.
Thank you
this fever
so
dream.
much.
Oh my gosh.
We had a great time.
Shut up.
Great time.
Oh my god! Oh my god, guys!
Yeah. Okay.
That wasn't
okay.
even remotely close, Jordan.
Well, I was going to
That was
ask if you guys.
horrible.
I was going to ask if you guys wanted to plug stuff, but since you're
Yeah,
making
I'll
fun of
plug.
me,
Yeah,
I'll
Jordan,
just
oh,
we'll just go ahead and
let me
end
know
this
this
right
podcast
here.
is going.
Yeah, we got that show, Shonen Flop. We've had these two cool cats on the show. Shout out to Brad for becoming a patron when I was like, we're $3 away from our Patreon goal. And then he signed up for it.
After you listen to at least 3 more episodes of this podcast, isekai yourself into our podcast.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Changing
See,
podcasts.
I'm helping
There
you guys
go.
out here. You know,
Fuck,
there
that's
you go.
really good.
I mean, to be
Synergy,
fair,
Nope.
crossover.
most of our listeners already listen to your
Shonen Flop,
shows.
yeah.
I would not be surprised if the diagram is 2 circles over each other.
hey, you know, you say that, but then somebody told me that they found Shonen Flop through listening to my other podcast, Mission Ignition, which they somehow found before Shonen Flop, which is a podcast about vampires.
I was going to say you should plug that.
Yeah, I just did.
You did.
I just also semi-related. I still remember someone on Reddit asked me if I had ever heard of anime out of context, and I was like, "Yes, I have." It's almost like I mention every fucking episode of this fucking podcast.
They're
But anyway,
our
yeah, so
sister show.
They are a sister show, our big sister. Love you, Rem, Dylan, and Sean. Rem, Rem didn't hate what we read. Spoiler alert. For him, but stay tuned for that episode. But yeah, thank you so much, though. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast. Our website is shonenflop.com. We are shonen-flop on Tumblr. Jordan's, I think, been maintaining that. I don't know. I don't look at his shit, but I'm sure it's great.
Not as much as I should have, but
yeah,
I am every now and
this
then.
is how I can berate you in public. No, I'm just kidding.
and what we say, we got to say, go listen to Shonen Flop.
Yes.
The Tricks Dedicated to Witches episode and the Fabricant 100
yeah, that's
episode.
the ones we're on.
Those are the only ones you need to listen to.
Two
so.
for being on actually
You've
very
been
good
on
manga.
you've been on like 2 of the only good
Only
manga
good
we read
ones.
last year.
God.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I was
okay.
like, oh,
We're getting
rip
into
this,
future
but anyway.
spoilers. Are you covering MMA because MMA is ending? Is it under your rule?
You'll find
Wait,
out.
mixed martial arts?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a manga called MMA. I will simply say we have some very spicy manga lined up. We have a
Okay.
guest that Jordan has been shitting himself that we're going to be having on. If you guys
Oh,
want a
yeah.
little spoiler for our guest after the next one, Jordan, you want to tell him who it is?
you got Barack Obama?
No, he was busy. We have what we call the Barack Obama of depressing webcomics. Right, Jordan?
Yeah, that's right. We got Dick Butt coming on.
Oh,
This is Fine Dog. We got Casey Green.
You got
Yeah.
Casey
Nice.
Green.
Yeah.
did
coming on.
you guys
We're
had
gonna-
said that he was apprehensive about doing it, right?
Yeah, he was
And then
too shy.
So we became friends with like his manager, and she was like, "Hey, this is like,
Oh my
legitimately,
gosh,
this
big-
woman is like
big
handling
money
all of the
moves.
Casey Green coordination for us."
Nice. Hey, you have to go on this podcast.
Yeah, so that's So I'm looking
Casey,
forward
you,
to it.
you invented the everything's fine dog.
Yes, and I
Tell
bet
me
he
you're
make
too nervous to come on an anime podcast.
God, and I bet he just makes no money from it. They stole it from him, man.
Oh, I'm sure he's pissed. We'll ask him. I'm sure. What a great. Jordan's definitely gonna ask him. Be like, "So, how do you feel about the money you've lost out?"
He just comes in. He's like just really grumpy, like, "Oh, I'm still angry about this is fine." Dog.
I mean, just because it's a meme, it doesn't enter the public domain. There are definitely bigger companies that had to have paid him for the rights.
oh God, I've seen like billboards and shit
There definitely
where it's like, you have a court case there, Casey.
Oh god. What do we do next? I feel like I don't know what to do with my hands.
I got a half plug for you guys because before this episode is coming out, our episode, one of our episodes of Shonen Jumping the Gun that we did with Maxie B, who's closely related to your podcast.
true.
Absolute
We
legend.
covered the irregular of the Royal Academy of Magic.
Yes, I think that's what it was called.
And as an extra special bonus, after this episode comes out, in like 2 weeks after that, there's another episode with Maxie B on Astro Baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Fucking rules.
I love Max. Max V is absolute legend.
Maxi B's. Yes.
They were posting some knowledge in the Shonen Flop Discord. It's also pretty sweet.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun with Maxie.
We had fun. Max V's
We had fun
Um,
here.
We
So,
had fun, right?
yeah, for us, I guess I'd say everybody needs to go listen to the regular podcast.
Yeah.
That time I got reincarnated
In the
same
same
world
world
as an anime podcaster. And
Yeah.
also Shonen Jumping the Gun. And also heroin addiction. We're doing way too much stuff.
Heroin
That's a lot of
addiction?
podcasts.
Do you not know about heroin addiction?
Heroin
about
is in the
heroin.
female hero.
Hey.
I got so
Excited.
fucking owned. Yeah. I thought it was gonna be like about grunge music or something.
No, it's we read romance and drama manhwa, and we talk about it for way too long. Me and Ben are the co-hosts. So.
I see.
That sounds pretty great.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you.
I guess we'll say thanks for listening.
Thanks for surviving this.
No problem. All right, well then
Thank
I'll
you
catch
once
you.
more,
I'll
Jordan
catch you all
David,
later.
and-
Get
Yeah.
you on the flip flop.
And you know what else is chapters?
Isekai?
Isekai manga.
Isekai manga.
I don't know if you guys were looking for a segue or we're supposed to keep fucking around.
No,
No,
I don't know.
so we
This is-
wanted
I mean,
to-
he's
yeah,
recording,
we
but
should-
we're in fuck around mode.
Oh, we're
This
fuck-
is probably-
okay, I
We're
was
still
looking
fucking.
for
We haven't
editor.
reached the episode yet. We just started recording because we were super paranoid.
I remember I was on the My Hero Academia and Jordan unironically was like, David, why are you being funny right now? We're not recording yet. Oh, I feel like you two actually, we had a question asked to, I don't know if you, actually, I don't think the episode's out yet, but we asked, from one of our listeners asked, if you could have a classical literary author create a manga, like a Shonen Jump manga, who would it be? But I feel like if you were to have a classical...
Wait, we just did this. Did you see through space to
Oh
see
my
this?
God.
Because we literally just did this.
We were talking to
It hasn't been
Maxie.
released yet.
We were talking to Maxie, and
Who was it?
It's
it
not
wasn't.
an author.
It wasn't a literary author. It was Ralph Bakshi. We
yeah.
wanted to see if Ralph Bakshi made a manga.
That's so weird.
Because we were
I
talking
don't know
about
how I
wizards
did
with
that.
guns, and then wizards. I had to bring up wizards because why am I'm going to bring up wizards? And then it was like,
Yeah.
what's a Ralph Bakshi manga or anime?
Wait, hold on, Jordan, did you watch the show we were supposed to watch for this episode?
Fuck you.
That was such a long pause that Jordan definitely ran the math on that.
What? No, there were 3. You were supposed to watch 3
Shut
episodes.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
I
I bet there's a
actually
lot
watched
of movies.
5 episodes.
I bet there's a lot of movies if you watch backwards turn into an isekai.
Yeah, like Memento.
I just realized another one I have to put on my isekai list.
Okay. Okay. We need to start, and we will
Like
never
we need to start, yeah.
Yeah, I've got
my
a hard
God.
stop at 7:30, so.
Okay.
Put the fear of God into me.
Well, no, this will only take
Damn
a
it,
minute.
David.
This will only take a minute because I
not
got
getting-
my
there's no way we're
list.
getting-
Yeah,
all
I've got
those.
7.
I got my list
Yeah, we're not.
here.
I
got a
don't think
few.
we're gonna hit everybody's.
Jordan is gonna
Okay.
hit Jordan often forgets to write a 6-word summary, so I imagine Jordan is currently watching TV shows trying to find an isekai while we are
I'm sure
recording.
we'll find it. I think we
I
have enough
have-
ammunition.
I have 6.
Okay,
Fuck.
cool. I have at least 3, which was what I said, which I stuck to, but I'm sure there's more in my brain. Okay. We are gathered here today as the fuck, I already screwed it up. Cut that. We are gathered.
Yeah, Jordan, I'll see you on Sunday, man.
Floppy. Hell yeah.
Bye. Bye.
All right.
Oh, he was legit.
Oh,
legit leaving.
okay.
I thought that was the podcast sign up, and then he's like, "See you Sunday." Like, oh, he actually is gone. He's out of here.
All right.
Okay.
I guess we're done.
Nice talking to you, Jordan. Have a good night.
Yeah, nice talking to you guys too.
Until time next.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.